Hey everyone, welcome back to my money making videos. This is D-Benz, otherwise known as Dale. Today's episode, I'm going to be glossing over how to get out of debt a lot faster than you typically would by normal methods. As a quick disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. I don't have any special certificates or any abbreviations next to my name. This is just something I would go back and tell myself if I was a young 18, 19-year-old guy, or even somebody in my 20s, because realistically, I wish somebody had told me this way back when I was that young. So in this episode, I'm going to be going over what types of debt you could possibly have, ranking which debt to actually pay first, and so on and so forth. This is just basic strategies in order to hammer down the debt and become debt-free and start building equity at that point. So to go quickly into it, the types of debt that are common to most people are credit card debt, car loans, education, whether it's from university, college, or trade school, and then finally a mortgage. Now, all these debts are very different from each other, and they're all structured with the interest very different as well. The highest interest here is most likely the credit card. That can range anywhere from 7% upwards to about 25% in some cases. It's very, very high, and a lot of people get in trouble by overconsuming, by overspending, because it's so easy to go on Amazon or anywhere else and just buy something with your smartphone. You can do it anywhere, anytime. So the credit card interest is really high and it's really easy to get in debt, so that is the most deadly combination out there. Most people do end up spending with the intent on paying it off, but then the urgency to pay it off kind of fades if you don't pay it off right away. It's always best to tackle your credit card first because the interest is compounded monthly and it is also the highest. So you're going to be hit the hardest from this particular debt. If you have any credit card debt at all, I would say this is probably your number one priority, and this is the most common type of debt people have over the age of 18, 19. Now, if you have a lower interest credit card and a very low amount that's on the card and you're comfortable carrying that, then fine. That's perfectly all right, especially if you're a young business owner and you do need to buy certain office supplies or you need to buy textbooks if you're a student, that sort of thing. It's okay to carry a little bit of debt, but don't let it get out of control. The best way to pay this back is to do double the minimum payments. This is by far statistically the easiest way to go about it if you're not spending any money at all. Now, if you are spending money on, let's say, alcohol, if you're a young student, or you like to go out to restaurants, what I've done in the past is round the bill up to the nearest tenth of a dollar, and then add $10 more on that. So essentially, if you pay $8 to go to McDonald's for a combo meal, well, at the end of the day, you're gonna have to pay back $20. That's a deterrent to spend money on your credit card. It's a really good way to cut back on your expenses, and also, I mean, if you're really, really hankering for that McDonald's, you gotta weigh the options. Is it worth $20 or is it not? To sum it all up, credit card debt is the worst thing to have because in the end, you do not get anything out of it. That time you went out for dinner, time you went out for drinks, unless it was a business type event, you basically pissed your money away. So in the end, it's good to get your credit card under control first and foremost based on the interest and how easy it is to spend. All right, enough about credit cards though. So the next one is car loans and education. I'm lumping these two together only because you need a car in order to go to work outside of, 10, 20 kilometers, unless you're within public transit range, which not all of us are though. And assuming you're traveling that far for a reason, if not further, is because you're getting paid a lot of money at that job, or at least a fair amount to make it worth it. And by that standard, you need an education. You need to be trained to be able to go and make that money. So in a way, I don't see car loans and education debt as being that bad as long as you spend within your means. I mean, you're not going through your 5th degree just because you feel like it, and you're not buying a Mercedes just because you want to look flashy. These two debts or expenses will eventually make you money in the future, in theory. I mean, if you buy a car just to cruise around but you don't work, you might be shooting yourself in the foot. Just like if you go and study something completely worthless with no job aspirations, yeah, you kind of pissed your money away as well. Most often than not, these loans are very low interest, and I would just recommend making the minimum payments on them because it's not worth hammering down your car loan payment because your car's going to be worth less in 6 months' time anyways. What's the point in flushing your money away in there? And education is very important as well, and I think it's okay to have a debt as long as you know that you're going into a field that eventually down the road you're going to be able to pay it back, and you're going to be making progressively more income as you get older in whatever field you chose. Now the last one is a mortgage. This might apply to people in their mid to late 20s or even people in their 30s. Not really 18, 19-year-olds unless you're a very successful person, and you know what, good on you if you can afford a house. Now this will be the largest loan or debt you will have. It is the largest liability you could ever possibly have, but it's also the largest asset. So it's a catch-22 in that regard. When you do get a mortgage, normally you're buying your property back slowly from whoever the lender is, whether it's the bank or a private lender. Now, I have a different opinion based off of a mortgage than most people will have. A lot of people will think, oh, I have to put all my extra money into the mortgage, which is a good philosophy. It's better than just sitting in the bank or not doing anything with it or just spending it on useless crud. So I think it's good if it's just sitting there to put it towards your mortgage. However, and this is the however I'm going to use, is interest rates are so low right now. As of right now, the date of recording this, which is March 15th, my interest rate in Canada is 1.85%. Now, we locked in a very, very, very good rate, but this is the lowest interest rate I think I've ever had with all my debts ever accumulated over the course of my life. Some people may argue, well, there's 0% car loans out there, but your car doesn't accumulate equity in it. Your car also doesn't appreciate in value more often than not. So my basic strategy for this is put enough into your house as a down payment if you're getting into it that you're comfortable with carrying that mortgage. Now calculate having an extra 1 or 2% interest tacked on just in case the interest is raised over the course of a few years. If you can still afford it, then you're fine. You don't need to put any extra money onto your mortgage because realistically your houses or apartment or whatever you're owning is going to appreciate in value anyways. So you might as well make just the minimum payments in there. This will also free up your cash flow as well. In order to run a house, you do need to do repairs. There does need to be an emergency fund. You do need extra cash flow. This lesson holds true with credit cards, car loans, education payments, and mortgage payments. Do not overpay on your debts because it'll leave you with no money in the event of an emergency, and you're just going to be pulling it right back off your credit card or whatever loan you're using. Alright, that pretty much concludes the video. It was only meant to be a 101 on how to pay back your debt the fastest ways possible without leaving yourself spread too thin. Now obviously the best way to pay back your debt is to never be in debt, but obviously, you know, hindsight's 20/20, right? So to everyone out there, put any extra pocket change, anything that you can on your credit card. That is probably, if you were to take away anything from this video, nail down that credit card, get rid of it. Because unless you want to figure out how to make a lot more money to pay off that debt, just get rid of the debt in the first place. If you haven't pressed the like button already, go ahead and smash that. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe for more. I do have another video on how to make money on your smartphone. This is a great way to make some pocket change extra per month just to throw on your credit card. It's not much, but it will compound over the long term. I encourage everyone to go ahead and check that video out. I hope everyone is having a great day. I'll catch you next time.